Chapter 50. Listen and repeat. Conversation. What's this? It's a ruler. How long is it? It's 1 foot long. How is it divided? It's divided into inches. How many inches are there in a foot? There are 12 inches in a foot. What's this? It's a yardstick. How long is it? It's 1 yard long. How is it divided? It's divided into feet. How many feet are there in a yard? There are 3 feet in a yard. When is it colder, in the summer or in the winter? It's colder in the winter than in the summer. When is it hotter, in the summer or in the winter? It's hotter in the summer than in the winter. Who are generally taller, boys or girls? Boys are generally taller than girls. Who are generally stronger, boys or girls? Boys are generally stronger than girls. Which is larger, London or Amsterdam? London is larger than Amsterdam. Which is heavier, the chair or the couch? The couch is heavier than the chair. Which is darker, black or gray? Black is darker than gray. Which is sweeter, sugar or bread? Sugar is sweeter than bread. What color is the cover of the book? This book has a black cover. And what color is the cover of this book? This book has a gray cover. Is the black book very good? Yes, it is. Is the gray book very good? No, it isn't. Which is better, the black book or the gray book? The black book is better than the gray book. Do you like the gray book? No, I don't. Why not? It's really bad. Which is worse, the gray book or the black book? The gray book is worse than the black book. How wide is the table? It's 6 feet wide. How wide is the desk? It's 6 feet wide too. How do they compare? The desk is as wide as the table. How tall is the oak? It's 100 feet tall. How tall is the elm? It's also 100 feet tall. How do they compare? The elm is as tall as the oak. Is it hot today? Yes, it is. Was it hot yesterday? Yes, it was. How does today compare with yesterday? It's as hot today as it was yesterday. Vocabulary. A little, plus comparative, as, better, adjective/adverb, boiling, noun, boiling point, by, after verb in passive form, centigrade thermometer, centimeter/centimeter, couch, noun, dark, adjective, day, noun, degree, distance, noun, elm, noun, Fahrenheit thermometer, figure, noun, freezing, noun, freezing point, generally, however, kilogram, me, abbreviation, kilo, kilometer/kilometer, liquid, adjective/noun, liter/liter, mark, noun, measure, noun, measurement, meter/meter, metric, oak, noun, point, noun, population, really strong, sugar, sweet, adjective, system, temperature, the Americans, the English, thermometer, thick, adjective, thus, weight, wide, worse, adjective/adverb, yard, yardstick. Verbs: to divide, to equal, to find, to measure, to confuse. British measures and weights. Inch, inches, equals 12 inches arrow, 2.54 centimeters. Foot, feet, equals 1 foot arrow, 30.48 centimeters. Yard, yards, equals 3 feet arrow, 91.44 centimeters. Statute. Mile, statute miles, arrow, 1.61 kilometers. Pint, pints, equals 0.57 liters. Quart, quarts, equals 2 pints, arrow, 1.13 liters. Imperial. Gallon, imperial gallon, equals 4 quarts, yields 4.54 liters. Ounce, avoirdupois ounce, equals 28.35 grams. Pound, avoirdupois pound, equals 16 avoirdupois ounces, yields 453.6 grams. A little plus comparison. While a little weakens the comparison, much, a lot, and other similar expressions strengthen it. The adverb very is never used before a comparative. Example: Anna is a little taller than Lisa, but Mark is much, equals a lot, taller than Lisa. Numerical expressions can also be placed before comparatives to indicate the exact difference. Example: Brown is 2 years older than Mark. To equal. Example: 2 plus 2 equals 4. To find. The complement after to find, called an object complement, follows the direct object, not the verb itself. Other verbs that follow the same structure: to call and to make. Example: Your letter made Brown happy. Reading. British and American weights and measures. Many foreigners find English and American weights and measures very confusing. Instead of meters and centimeters, the English talk about inches, feet, and yards. A meter is a little longer than a yard. In figures, feet are usually shown by a single mark, apostrophe, and inches by a double mark, double quote. Thus, 5 feet 4 inches equals 5 feet 4 inches. Instead of kilometers, the English and Americans measure long distances in miles. A kilometer is shorter than a mile. It is about 5/8 of a mile. 48 kilometers equal 30 miles. Measurements of weight are also different. The English and Americans use ounces and pounds. There are 16 ounces in a pound. 2.2 pounds equal 1 kilogram. In liquid measurements, they use quarts and gallons. There are 4 quarts in a gallon. A quart is a little more than a liter. Even temperatures are given in a different system. The Americans and the English use the Fahrenheit thermometer instead of the centigrade. On the Fahrenheit thermometer, the freezing point of water is 32 degrees, and the boiling point of water is 212 degrees. The English have begun changing to the metric system. The Americans, however, still keep the old measurements. Note meter. This is the British English spelling of meter. Many measurement words differ between British and American English. Meter, centimeter, kilometer, liter, British, versus meter, centimeter, kilometer, liter, American. The verb to show here is in the present passive and followed by, which introduces the agent. It means to indicate or to represent. 5/8 represents the fraction 5/8. The numerator is a cardinal number, and the denominator is singular if the numerator is 1, plural otherwise. Example, 1/3, 2/3. The phrase are given is a passive form of to give, used absolutely, without an agent. The noun thermometer is implied after centigrade, not replaced by one, as it's clear from context. Comprehension exercise. English questions. How many foreigners find English and American weights and measurements? What do the English talk about instead of meters and centimeters? Which is longer, a meter or a yard? What does 6 feet 2 inches equal? What do the English and Americans measure long distances in? Which is shorter, a kilometer or a mile? How many miles do 24 kilometers equal? How many miles do 40 kilometers equal? What do the English and Americans use for weights? How many ounces are there in a pound? How many pounds equal 1 kilogram? What do the English use for liquid measurements? How many quarts are there in a gallon? Which is smaller, a quart or a liter? Do the Americans use the centigrade thermometer? What does a thermometer measure? What thermometer do the Americans use? What's the freezing point of water on the Fahrenheit thermometer? What's the boiling point of water on the Fahrenheit thermometer? Have the English begun changing to the metric system? Have the Americans begun changing to the metric system? Irregular comparatives, positive. Bad, good, good. Much. Comparative, worse, better, more. Beside the adjectives that form the comparative of superiority, as shown in the previous unit, there are a few very common adjectives that have irregular comparative forms. These forms can also be used as adverbs. Examples: Sally's homework is better than John's. Henry can swim better than Bill. Comparisons with as. Mark is as tall as his brother. This bag is as heavy as that one. Mark's ruler is as long as Brown's. When we want to say that two people or things have the same quality to the same degree, we use the structure as. When the verb is in the affirmative form, so as is often preferred. In some cases, the element following the comparative can be considered the subject of a comparative clause, whose verb is often omitted. The verb is usually expressed only when needed to avoid ambiguity or when it is in a different tense from the main clause. Example: Helen is as fat now as I was last year. Let's review. How plus measure adjectives. How long is that river? It's 445 miles long. How wide is the bridge? It's 20 feet wide. How thick is the wall? It's 10 inches thick. How tall is Mark? He's 5 feet 7 inches tall. How high is this tower? It's 240 feet high. How deep is the river here? It's about 10 feet deep. English explanation. To introduce questions about dimensions, length, width, thickness, height, depth, English uses the interrogative adverb how followed by the appropriate measure adjective. In the answers, the verb to be is followed by the number and then by the same adjective used in the question. Since the specific units of measurement are often clear from context, they are sometimes omitted. Likewise, the adjectives can sometimes be omitted in short answers. Like old, measure adjectives behave the same way. Comprehension exercise, answers. 1. Many foreigners find English and American weights and measurements very confusing. 2. They talk about inches, feet, and yards instead of meters and centimeters. 3. A meter is longer than a yard. 4. 6 feet 2 inches equals 6 feet 2 inches. 5. They measure long distances in miles. 6. A kilometer is shorter than a mile. 7. 24 kilometers equal 15 miles. 8. 40 kilometers equal 25 miles. 9. They use ounces and pounds for weights. 10. There are 16 ounces in a pound. 11. 2.2 pounds equal 1 kilogram. 12. They use quarts and gallons for liquid measurements. 13. There are 4 quarts in a gallon. 14. A liter is a little smaller than a quart. 15. No, they don't. 16. A thermometer measures the temperature. 17. They use the Fahrenheit thermometer. 18. The freezing point of water on the Fahrenheit thermometer is 32 degrees. 19. The boiling point of water on the Fahrenheit thermometer is 212 degrees. 20. Yes, they have. 21. No, they haven't.